Hey, what's up you guys? It's Six. Welcome back to my channel, and also welcome to 2025, and also welcome to my face. I decided a while ago that like I wasn't happy 100% with just like my top-down like filming style, or like, you know, screen recording for like Procreate and stuff like that. I wanted to have like a little bit more stuff going on. And I thought it would be fun to start including like a face cam adjacent kind of thing where I do my voiceovers on camera and then just like pop myself in the corner of the screen like Markiplier. I don't know. I've been seeing a couple of other art YouTubers do it, and I was like, I could do that. That looks fun. I saw Sarah Tepes in one of her videos mention that it kind of feels like a FaceTime, and I feel like that's how I've been liking my voiceovers lately for the last like year or so. I've been kind of foregoing a script in favor of just like stream of consciousness, kind of like raw talking sort of thing. It's a lot easier on me mentally. It also just feels like more authentic to me personally. So I thought it would be fun to try out this little voiceover screen cam thing. Anyways, getting into the first video of 2025. I cannot believe that it's 2025. Oh my god. Like, when I think about the fact that 2020 now was half a decade ago. No, I don't like it. Anyways, something that I like to do on my channel every single year for the first video of the year, obviously, is talk about my resolutions, both like my personal resolutions, but also like my resolutions as like an artist and stuff like that, mainly focusing on like the art related ones. But something I do on my channel every year is I state my resolutions, but before that I go and look at last year's resolutions and see my thoughts on that, see if I achieved them, see how I feel about them, see if I'm going to rehash them for the new year. So let us get into our list. And yes, I am missing a nail. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about Gel X, but my middle finger, after 2 weeks, it just rejects it. This is part of the reason why I wasn't sure if I was gonna do this format, because I tend to ramble. Number one for last year, my first resolution was to make more traditional and personal work, and I actually feel like I achieved this one. I ended up getting a lot more involved in like the TikTok shop towards the end of the year. I didn't really trust it at the beginning of 2024 because it was still kind of like a new thing that I didn't quite understand. But then when I started seeing like brands that I actually know, like Ohuhu and stuff getting on there, I was like, okay. And I ended up getting a lot of marker brands for some reason, acrylic marker brands specifically, messaging me and being like, do you want to try our markers? And so I've been doing this thing where every single time I get a new marker, I try it out, and then I've been comparing all of them, because I don't want to like sit there and be like, every single acrylic marker is good. I more so want to be like, okay, this is good, but why is it good? And how does it compare to this brand and this brand and this brand, so you can see how all of them work and then kind of like gauge which one would work best for you. No, I'm still understanding acrylic markers and stuff, but I've been using a lot of them. So I've been doing a lot of stuff with acrylic markers, but also I've been doing so many gouache paintings. You can see back here, unless I crop this out later, but you can see I have a huge stack of wooden canvases because I love to do gouache paintings now of like little bugs and stuff. This is the only one that I have currently because it hasn't sold yet because it's huge, and I tend to sell all of those are really tiny, roughly like 5x7, which is actually my favorite size to do. But I love painting on wood. I cannot stand painting on canvas, I have found. I tended to not like paint in like years previous. I just really struggled with the medium, and then when I started using gouache, I was like, oh, I really like gouache. I like that it's kind of like watercolor but kind of like acrylic. It's like kind of like a middle ground, so that there's like time for it to mix, but at the same time it dries quick enough that like I can go in and build layers and not have to sit there and wait for forever. And I really enjoy the medium. But I tried it for the first time on a little wood panel. It was the same as this, like how it's like actual bark, but it was super tiny. It was like 2 inches, and I painted a ladybug, but I think that was in 2023. But in 2024, I started getting a lot of them. I just was like, I really like this. I like this medium. I like this canvas. But anyway, back to what I was talking about, traditional work. I have been doing a decent amount of it. I also like have been like intentionally making videos where I'm like, okay, I want to do traditional for this video. I want to do this video traditional, or like going back into my sketchbook and like actually working on things. So that's been really nice. I've been doing a lot of traditional work there. A little side tangent of that I had last year was personal work, which that's debatable. Whether or not I did personal work is very debatable. I drew a lot of fan art for Full Metal Alchemist. I did do a lot of that. But it wasn't really personal work. And when I say that, I know you're probably like, how is like drawing fan art repetitively of your biggest fandom not personal work? And that is because I use them as warm-ups. So it's like, I get in for the day, I do a sketch of Ed. That is my warm-up for the day. It's not like me intentionally sitting down and being like, I want to do like more fun, like creative, personal work. Like I want to put my heart and my feelings and stuff into it. I didn't really do a lot of that. I did try a few times. It didn't really come to fruition as much as I would have liked. October, ironically, before I got sick, I did 4 days, or was it 3 or 4 days, I think, of Inktober. And those were great. I was really, well, some of them. I was really happy with 2 of them. One of them was a Full Metal Alchemist fan art. I bet you can guess what day that was for. It was October 3rd. I did a piece for October 3rd. And I don't know what possessed me that day. I just was like really in like the focus zone. It was super moody. I really liked the vibe of it. I've never drawn Alphonse before because lie. Where is he? He's on my desk somewhere. I've done like this, but like that doesn't count. That's not the armor. I drew the armor. Admittedly, it was like his shoulder. But still, that's armor. I hate drawing armor, and I did that. I drew fire. I gave it like moody lighting and everything, and I was like, oh my god, I like this. I'm really proud of that. I like that very much. I really enjoy that. We are 12 minutes into, and we're only on number 1, and I haven't even gotten into it. I need to wrap it up. Anyways, so I didn't do as much personal work as I would have liked, but I did do some personal work that I was very proud of. Definitely something that I'm going to continue into next year, but we'll talk about that. Well, this year, but we'll talk about that soon. Number 2 was better balance. Taking breaks, recognizing when my body is shutting down and taking breaks maybe prior to my body shutting down. This, I will say, is hard for me to determine whether or not I did so. I did finally decide that I need to have like a weekend. I gave myself like Sundays and Saturdays off because I was previously, I would take no breaks. I would not have a day off for years. I don't know how I did that. For years, I had no days off, and I would like every once in a while be like, okay, I need to take a break or I'm gonna explode. Or I transitioned after that into having only Wednesdays off, and then I was like, I can't ever do anything on a Wednesday. None of my friends are off on Wednesdays. None of my family is off on Wednesdays. I can't spend time with anybody on Wednesdays. I can only sit and game by myself or with my partner. So that's not really vibing, it's not jazzing. And also one day in the middle of the week is not enough time to recuperate. So I gave myself weekends. 2 days off in a row. 2 days off in a row. Big refresh, super helpful. So I did do that. I'm very happy that I decided to use that model, because before I would like tell myself that I would never get anything done in time if I would take a break like that. And now I realize that that was ridiculous and like kind of insane of me to do to myself. But we're coming out of that. But then there were times where I would work on my weekends because I'd be like, well, this thing's not gonna get done if I don't work through that. And that's fine in like small doses, but I was doing it a lot because I had really like, I had a couple of like emergencies this year where like I had to take on massive amounts of commissions at a super huge discount so that I could, you know, actually get people getting them. And that just made like a clog of like all this stuff that I have to do. And while most people that are in my commission queue are like, I've waited years for a commission, which no one will ever have to do. No one will ever have to do that. But they'll be like, I waited years for a commission, you are fine. Chill out. But I would still freak out. I would still freak out and I would panic and I would be like, I have to get everything done now at once immediately. So I would work through those days off and then I would crash and then I would take days off in the week in addition to my weekend because my body was shutting down and I had no choice but to take a break or I would explode. So that I would like to kind of get a better handle on, maybe like just managing like my time better, but also like, you know, taking breaks throughout the day, so maybe I'm not so wound up, so that if I do have a day where I feel anxious, I can like step aside and be like, okay, chill for a minute, okay, now we're good, okay, now let us continue, instead of like crashing at 11 a.m. and not being able to do anything for the rest of the day because my brain exploded. How many times am I gonna say exploded in this video? So yeah, hit or miss, but kind of. The third one, I'm gonna say something so 2010 right now. Epic fail. Epic fail for number 3, which was to read more. In 2022, I think it was 2022, I made the resolution to read a book a month, and one of the books that I wanted to read was Song of Achilles, and I said that I read a few pages, and when I tell you, I'm in the same place, which is the beginning of the book. It's the beginning of I want to finish this book. I really do. But I have such a bad habit of when I have a day off, am I gonna read? Red Dead Redemption. Web fishing. Resident Evil. The same Resident Evil games that I have now gone through all of them and still replaying because Resident Evil. The Sims. I be gaming. I do not be reading. I like evidence of me not be reading. Hold on. This, first of all, please, can we just look at this sticker that my friend got me, speaking of Resident Evil. My friend got me that at TwitchCon and I'm using it as a bookmark because it cracks me up. This is Full Metal Alchemist, right? It's my thing that I love. This is, admittedly, it's volume 2. So I got through volume 1. This isn't a great example though, because this is also oh, I unpaused me talking in the background of my previous video. Though I'm looking at the last one. It's also this one. We don't like that one. Anyways, so I didn't read. I did not read. I didn't. Number 4, also epic fail, and that was to post more. I fell off of posting everywhere. I fell off of posting on this channel. I fell off of posting on YouTube. I didn't fall off of posting on Patreon. I stayed on top of Patreon. I really liked Patreon this year. It made me super happy. But I fell off of posting everywhere, and that is for a multitude of reasons. One of those reasons is the absolute rise of AI art this year. It was just so discouraging, 1. And 2, the fact that every single platform almost, except for places like Blue Sky and Kara, were like, yeah, we are also, my whole house is sick. So if you hear people coughing in the background, I'm next, and I'm upset about it. Anyways, all of us are ill. I made soup yesterday. Every single place except for Kara and Blue Sky were like, yeah, if you upload on our platform, it is gonna get fed into our AI, so we can train it, regardless of if you want that or not. And then I think that like Meta and stuff made it so that like if you were in the US you couldn't opt out, but if you were outside of the US you could, which like, why is it region locked? I don't want my stuff in there. Are you kidding? I don't want to be in your AI thing. But unfortunately, Instagram is one of the biggest platforms, and like the platform that I started on, so really I should get back to posting on there, but it just makes me feel icky. But like building up I have a Kara, I have a Blue Sky, but like building those platforms up is really like difficult for me to start in like a new space, because I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I forget that they exist all of the time, because like I only ever see them in passing. It's almost always people like Instagram this, Twitter that. I fell off everywhere. And another big reason of that, again, not just AI art, but also just like my mental health was really not great in 2024. I had so much art block and stress and anxiety this year that like everything kind of just like was not a priority unless it was a commission or Patreon. Everything else was just no, I can't put focus into a YouTube video when I don't have the creativity or the inspiration to draw anything. I don't want to like keep putting the same video out that nobody cares about, because it's like it's not anything new or like interesting or even fun, you know. Like the videos that I did put out were times where I was feeling good and I was able to get a video out and feel comfortable with that, but anytime I skipped a week, it was because I had nothing in the brain just rattling around in there. It was not going to work for me. I was not able to do that. So number 4. Number 5 was to find my flow, which, as you can see from number 4, did not happen, but it also did in a way. Towards the end of the year, I found like some things that made me have that kind of creative spark again. I've talked a little bit about it on the Patreon. I don't recall how much I've talked about it on this channel, but I have taken a great interest into getting a tattoo apprenticeship this year, which is looking to be very hard in my particular area, because it's all male-owned shops and American traditional, and every single person that I've asked that does stuff like this in the area has took one look at me and gone, you don't want to go in there. You don't want to go in there. It's bad. It's bad. They're very sexist and scary. And so I haven't talked to anybody. I haven't talked to anybody yet that like is in like a role that they would be able to give me an apprenticeship. I've only spoken to other apprentices, so that's not great. I also just haven't found anybody that I vibe with in particular that I would want to apprentice under. And also my portfolio, it's nil right now. There's like one piece in it, one piece mentioned, but just the idea of tattooing in general has kind of given me some of my creativity back, because I'm like, what would I do for this? What you know, what style could I try out for this? What is like some subject matter that I could tackle? Like I'm looking specifically for a piece. I wanted to do this thing where I took letters and I found like a flower that started with the letter, and I could like build the initial out of the plant, so I could show drawing skills but also lettering skills. And this was like a little practice that I did of some poppies that I really liked. I thought those turned out really super cute. It's literally like post-it note with some ohuhu markers, but I like, tell me that's not, let me do the influencer, that's not gonna make it focus on the piece, is it? No. Well, anyway, trust, I think it's cute. So I drew some poppies, and it's just given me like more inspiration to kind of like study and like do more like learn more stuff, learn how to draw more things, which is good. But as far as like the general flow of things go, obviously I fell off of that hard. I did not find my mojo until like September, and even then it kind of still was like a struggle, because like, oh no, it's the end of the year, so now I have to do all my end of the year things, which means that, you know, flowy, like natural personal art kind of falls off. How many times? Exploding and falling off is 2024 for me, apparently. Getting into my goals for 2025. So my first one, surprise, surprise, is to get a tattoo apprenticeship. I really want to do it this year. I want to find a shop that I would feel comfortable in, and I want to build a portfolio, get that apprenticeship, and start making moves to do that if it feels right for me. I know that I tend to get very impulsive about certain things. This hair is a great example. I watched Voltron for too long and was like, I want dark mullet hair. I didn't get a mullet, But I did dye my hair dark and now I miss my blonde and I'm really sad about it. But I like the color it faded too. It's kind of like brown. But anyway, impulsive decision. And I don't want to say that like tattooing is like an impulsive decision on my part, because I have been thinking about it for a while, but like I don't want to like jump into it until I like have done my research and I know that this would be something that would be good for me and that I would enjoy doing. Right now I'm kind of like still in the early stages of like, you know, finding all of the info out about it. I'm like building a portfolio. I'm watching videos of people that are tattoo artists. I'm asking around to my friends who I know that are tattoo artists in different cities, and you know, kind of getting my research and figuring things out that way. So if it feels right for me, I want to get a tattoo apprenticeship. I really want to do that. And then I have a bunch of bullets over here for my art related goals. So my first one is to allow myself more room to be creative. So I think like when I wrote that down, what I mean is that I would like to spend more time doing personal work, trying things that I haven't tried before, you know, kind of pushing myself to do new things and get back in my flow vibe, just make art for the sake of making art, not for the sake of like showing people and doing stuff like that. I want to get back into the thing that made me like making art in the first place, which is the aspect of creating and not necessarily the end result of that creation. So there's that one. The next one is a big one for me because this was a huge problem that I noticed in 2024, and that was to lose some of my perfectionism. I don't know what it was, because when I started the year off, I don't think that I was a huge perfectionist, but somehow like by, you know, the early quarter of the year, I was nitpicking my art in every way imaginable. I was using the liquify tool like crazy. I was warping things left and right. I was inching pixels out of pixels out of the way, because I'm like, oh, this is like a millimeter off, this is a nanometer off, and you can so tell that the eyes are crooked. And usually when that happens, it's like your mental library is filling and you're like seeing what you like in other people's art, but your current skills aren't matching up with what's in your brain. So that means you need to do studies. But for me, I was like, I hate to do studies. I hate studying. I don't want to. I know that I can do it if I push myself, and if I like, you know, nitpick things really hard, I can mash it into what I want. So I'm just gonna do that. And that sucked, because then I would spend so much time moving things around and I would never be happy with it. Never. Every single thing I would make, I would be like, I hate this. It's terrible. They're not gonna like this. They're gonna hate this piece. Especially when it was a commission. If it was like for Patreon, I was like, okay, because this is more of like my personal thing, even though, you know, like I do have an audience that I am sort of what's the word that I don't know. I have an audience on Patreon, like they're there for that stuff on Patreon, but it's still like my personal work. I feel like they're there for like my personal ideas and stuff like that. Whereas like with the commission, it's like you have an idea in mind, and also this is your character. These aren't my characters, these are your characters. I gotta get it right. If I don't get it right, you're gonna get mad at me, or I'm gonna fail. Like I'm just gonna be a bad artist all of a sudden, and you're gonna regret commissioning me, even though you've commissioned me like 3 times. So it was just a lot of me like doubting myself, doubting my skills, doubting my ability, doubting my worth as a creator, and that sucked. That feeling sucked. The end result of that sucked. The feeling like I'm not happy with any of the things that I create sucked. So I don't want to do that this year. I want to make mistakes, and I want to, when I recognize that I'm having trouble with something, I want to study. I want to learn why I like certain people's art and what I don't like about my art, so that I can fix it and like make art that I am happy with, but not in a way that like I'm happy with it because I sat there and like messed with it for a very long time. I don't want to do that. It makes my brain hurt. And it also makes things take so much longer. Pieces that used to take me 3 hours take me 9. No! I am not getting paid 9 hours worth work type stuff for these. My pieces are charged at like the amount of time that they take me, but they're not anymore because those were the prices for 3 hours, and now it's 9, and I cannot afford to triple my prices. I can't. So I need to speed it up. I need to speed it up, and I need to get out of my head. So there's that. The next one, I kind of talked about it already, was balancing my work art with more personal art. You guys heard me yap about that. I want to do like more sit down, intentional, creative, fun things for me without necessarily thinking about like, oh, I'm gonna show this to everybody. It's like, nope, this is just for me, and if I like it enough, I can share it, but I'm not gonna make it with the intention of thinking, oh, I have to share this. Just time for me to be creative, get things on paper, particularly on paper. I don't think I put that as a goal, but I want to keep that as a continuing, like, I want to do more traditional pieces this year. I want to paint more. I painted a lot last year, but I want to paint more this year, stuff like that. I just want to be creative and do things for the sake of doing things because I want to do them. Like, I have this piece that I want to do. It was the heart. I hated the heart, but I have these little tiny wood panels that are circles that are kind of like a similar size, where I saw this pink satin bow on Pinterest, and it was really pretty, and I want to try to paint that because I've only painted bugs and gouache so far. So I want to see if like I like that medium for bugs only, because I can't draw a bug. It's so weird. I can't draw a bug digitally. I can draw it on a canvas though, and then paint it. I don't know. I've done some bugs digitally, like I've done like butterflies and moths and stuff, but like beetles and stuff, anytime I try to draw a beetle, even on paper, it doesn't come out. I don't know. I don't know. Something about gouache and bugs for me. But I want to see if I can apply that to other subjects as well. So I want to paint that little bow. That's a personal thing. I'm not doing that with the intention of showing people. I'm doing that because I saw it and I want to make it, and it seems like a fun thing for me to make. And then if I share it and somebody wants it, great. I did a thing, but it was for me and not for everybody. It was for me because I wanted to make that piece. So I want to do a lot more of that. I also want to study more. I've said this several times now. I want to do more studies. I want to do style studies, but I also want to do like anatomy studies and things like that in a more intentional way. It used to be in years past where like if I would struggle with a particular thing, I'd be like, okay, I need to put some focus on that. I'm struggling with hands right now. Let me go do hand studies for a day. And now suddenly I remember how to draw a hand again. Great. That would work temporarily, but now I feel like over time I'm like kind of, I don't feel like my skills are diminishing, but I feel like my mental image of stuff isn't lining up with what I'm making on paper for any aspect. So I feel like I need to do some more like intentional studies where like I go in, I want to do stuff like the 100 head challenge. I want to do style studies. I want to do intentional anatomy studies that I repeat. I want to look at tutorials and things and see if like I can find methods that other people are using for things that I'm struggling with. And I want to like purposefully do that and not just do it every once in a while when I feel like one thing isn't matching up. I want to like actually do stuff and think about what I'm doing. I also, lastly, want to be more active on socials. It's always one of my last ones is to be more active on socials because I used to post on Instagram every single day. Every single day. I did that for 2 years, or was it 3? It was a long time. Every single day. How did I do that? I don't know how I did it. I'm not saying I'm gonna post every single day, but I do have at least a plan to try to get at least one post out a week on those kinds of socials, like Instagram, Blue Sky, Kara, whatever, whichever one I decide to keep continuing to put my art on. I want to post at least once a week on those, hopefully more if I get the chance. But I want to start off kind of like small and then increasing it if I, am staying consistent with that. So I want to post at least once a week on socials like that. I want to try to post YouTube shorts more because number 1, they're fun to film. Number 2, TikTok might be leaving us. I fear she might be leaving us. And that makes me sad because TikTok was a really super fun platform for me to film on. It was something where I was like, I could do like bare minimum effort, but like still share content that I was having fun with making. Like some of my favorite parts is just highlighting a piece. And if I can just film me highlighting a piece and being like, here's my art, here you go. right here, easy peasy, super easy to find, and not have to like do all of the extra stuff like, oh my god, hashtags and blah, blah, blah. That's so scary. I hate it. But I do want to post more shorts, because if TikTok leaves, that's where I'm gonna be posting that kind of content, is YouTube shorts for sure. Especially, again, I don't know how I feel about Instagram right now. So yeah, post more on YouTube shorts. I'm pointing to my calendar. I have every single week's YouTube video laid out for this year. I have backups in case I get to a certain week and decide like, I don't want to film that. But like, I have it planned, like to the point where I can tell you guys definitively right now, every single third week of a month is going to be the Patreon video, so you guys can see what rewards you're going to be getting. You guys can see how I made them, what I thought about them. This is not a Patreon plug. This is just me telling you I specifically am planning stuff. Like, I know I can tell you what the second Saturday in June is going to be a 24-hour mini sketchbook tour if I film that. There might be a day where, like, you know, I could get to that 24-hour mini sketchbook tour and be like, I don't actually want to film that. That doesn't sound like fun. I'm exhausted. I don't want to fill a whole sketchbook in 24 hours right now. I can't do that. So I have like a backup. Okay, I don't want to film that 3-marker challenge instead. So it's planned. It's planned. And I have like days where I'm going to be filming this day. It's going to go on Patreon this day. It's going to go on YouTube this day. So there will not be a week. There will not be a week where you will not see me on YouTube, okay? This year. I'm making that promise. I'm not missing a week on YouTube this year. Not one. Not one. I am preparing. Oh, I shook you guys really bad. Speaking of preparing, I need this is an unofficial resolution. I need a new filming setup. I need a stand that's not gonna rock. I need a stand that's not gonna rock like crazy. And then I also want a new mic. I keep seeing this mic on the TikTok shop that's like this little pink thing. And it noise cancels like crazy. I want it so bad. But yeah, that's pretty much it. As far as my goals for the new year. To summarize everything in the quickest way that I possibly can, I want to be more creative. I want to study more, and I want to be nicer to myself. I want to lose that perfectionism. I want to bring back my creativity. I want to allow myself to flow and, you know, kind of let things come to me naturally and not think so hard about whether or not my things are dynamic or perfect or super, super interesting. I just want to make art for the sake of making art. This year, I want to make art. To make art because it makes me happy. Okay, that was a long video. That was me talking for a long time. My throat hurts. My throat hurts, but I did this for you because you guys tell me you like longer videos. If you do like longer videos, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know what videos you guys want to see from me this year, because I do have everything planned, but again, like, it is so helpful to have backup videos where if I get to one of those weeks, if I'm like, I can't do that, I don't want to do that, I'm too slow to do whatever that is. If I have backup suggestions from you guys that are fun and interesting, and especially that are things that I know you guys want to see, then that's super helpful. So leave those down below. Also, it's the 4th of January as you guys are seeing this, possibly earlier if you're on the Patreon, which I am about to plug now. Now is my Patreon plug. I'm doing really cool things for Patreon in 2025. I am doing every single month as a different animal of the Chinese zodiac. So the first month, this month, is a snake, and I would pop it on screen for you guys here, but because this is the beginning of the month, I don't have any of like the finished products yet. You guys will see them again. 3rd week of the year, 18th. January 18th, you guys will see these bee paint and everything come together. But if the snake themed portrait sounds really cool to you, patreon.com/6studios. I got a ton of stuff that I'm gonna have up this year. I'm really excited about the theming. I have some additional thoughts on it too that I'm kind of like mulling around with, and I'm really excited to experiment as far as those things go. So if that is of interest to you, go check out the Patreon. I highly recommend specifically the chamomile tier, which before you go, of course you're gonna plug your highest tier. I just did the math on this. Literally, I'm not even kidding, 2 days ago. It's been up for a while, but I just did the math on it. It's a $30 tier that has more than $60 worth of stuff on there, because you get everything that you get in the matcha mail tier, so that's $15. Plus a monthly bus commission, that's $45. So $45 plus $15, that's $60. Plus you get a physical version of your commission each month. You get to decide between a print, a sticker, a magnet, or a button. It's a lot of stuff that you get for more than half the price. So if you want to get a super huge steal on stuff like that, patreon.com/6studios. Happy New Year, you guys. I am so excited to get into 2025 and put myself out there, do more stuff, make more art for you, have more like personal stuff going on the channel, and generally just being more around on my socials, making more art, being here more, doing more stuff, being more creative, yapping a lot apparently. I love you guys so much, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.